Welcome to the Ironcast podcast. We have the one and only Jake Seawolf. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, just went and hiked Timpanogos yesterday, so
Ooh,
I'm a little bit more calm today.
a little tired.
Yeah, maybe I won't be as dramatic on here.
Good. Jake, today, talking a little bit about PTSD.
PTSD.
It's a big subject.
It is a big subject.
One of the things we looked up was, what is PTSD? And we have, according to the Mayo Clinic, the definition of PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is a mental health condition that is caused by extremely stressful or terrifying event, either being part of it or witnessing it. Symptoms may include flashback, nightmares, severe anxiety, and uncontrollable thoughts about the event. I've been diagnosed, and it's weird to say, but I guess I've been diagnosed with PTSD myself through cancer. And I know that you have as well, as being a combat veteran. And one of the things when I was going through therapy is my therapist told me a little bit between about trauma, and that there's big T and little t, big trauma and little trauma. There's big events in your life and little events in your life that cause different things. And he said, big T is anyone would recognize it as a potential source of trauma. Usually a single event. This includes things like war, rape, homicide, cancer, or life-threatening diseases would be big T. Little t is not immediately being able to recognize a source of trauma. It's lots of times. This is an event repeated over time. And this includes things like people looking at you in a certain way, certain tones being used with you, sarcasm done in a certain way that never sat well with you, but it's been done over and over and over throughout your life. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your experiences in your life?
Yeah, let's see. The problem with, so you were asking me what the definition of PTSD was.
Right. What is PTSD to you?
It would have changed between before and after I got diagnosed. Not like immediately after either, like years after going to therapy and psychology and everything. Because before, it was like, I don't have PTSD because I don't get frightened and terrified. And I used to think that's all PTSD was. Because every time someone talked about it, it was like, yeah, I have severe PTSD. And there's always people who very cowardly went down when anything went wrong. They'd hide in a corner. They were just terrified of the world. And I was never terrified of the world. I was very angry. I would explode out of severe just angerness. And I just wanted to kill everyone around me.
Right.
And there'd be times, like if I was carrying that day, like obviously not in the army, but I would have to go lock away my pistol or something because I was just stressing out super bad, having people just hold on to my firearms with me, especially, there was a point when I was suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, I hate admitting all this shit, but I guess it's real.
Yeah.
But, why don't we just take it back?
Yeah.
Before all this happened. So when I first joined the army,
Sure.
it was 3 months after high school, and went to basic training, did all that, immediately got sent over to Germany to my first duty station. And it was not even a year after that, just a few months, that we went to Afghanistan for 11 months. And I was in the 172nd Infantry Brigade, which no longer exists. What is that word? They got rid of the unit. I don't remember the word they used for it. But when I was in Afghanistan, I don't feel like we saw a lot compared to, you read all these books about like Green Berets and Navy SEALs where they're in gunfights every day.
Mm-hmm.
You've watched the movie Restrepo where those dudes were in a gunfight every single day and lost a bunch of great men. And like my deployment was not like that. My deployment consisted of, I was in 2 gunfights, very short gunfights. We're talking like a couple minutes. Like they shot at us. We shot hell at them. I have a few buddies that got blown up, watched a few of my friends get blown up, but not killed because our armor is fantastic. One of my buddies' ankles got completely just fucked up. So he was not even, they sent him home.
Right.
But had a buddy who got a really bad concussion up in the gun turret when he went up. Thought I lost a couple friends. Luckily, I didn't lose any friends from IEDs on the American side. A lot of the guys because I was learning the Pashto language where we were at. So I would be out talking to like our Afghan soldiers, Afghan police officers all the time. And a lot of the guys that I made friends with there, they got killed, getting blown up because they're in these little Toyota trucks. So they get blown up, everyone in the truck's dead. And that happened quite a bit. So definitely lost a lot of our Afghan partners. We lost 2 of our friends. One dude was from Blue on, they call that. I wouldn't consider our Afghan fighters Blue Force, which meaning that like direct allies. But I think we classified that as Blue on Blue Force. So he basically was an undercover Taliban agent, shot one of our dudes in the face. He was in a different platoon, so I wasn't out there when the direct event happened, but I was on the QRF force. And it was Staff Sergeant Wilson, phenomenal dude, one of the best dudes in our entire company. So that was a pretty horrific day. We went out there and we were ready to just slaughter every single one of them and restart that shit. But we had an officer that was very adamant, threatening all of us that if we did anything, then he was going to get us arrested and thrown into Leavenworth and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I kind of thought that like, well, dude, you're an enemy of us now. Because I mean, I was young. I was 9.
Right.
Maybe even 18. No, I was 19 because 19 to 20 is when I was deployed. But it's just like, so, I mean, when you overall look at it, like there was some horrific shit that happened. And we lost a guy in our platoon, but it was more suicidal. He enjoyed getting high off canned air. And the sad part about that is
like a whippet,
like the thing that you dust your keyboards off.
Yeah.
So he was huffing canned air. None of us knew that. He was a NCO as well. So, I mean, he had like his own like little space in our main compound. And no one noticed it because it happened like 4 hours prior to a mission. So we all load up. We're getting ready. Helicopter's in. It's midnight now. Helicopter lands. And it's just like, where the fuck is this guy? And everyone's looking for him. So our platoon sergeant is like, we'll get everyone on the helicopter. We'll find him. So we all get on the helicopter. The helicopter, then our platoon sergeant shows up, gets on. And he's like, said something over the radio. None of us could really understand. It's like, all right, where the hell is this guy? The helicopter leaves. We go back to the FOB, like the great big base that they have, forward operating base. And it lands for like 20 minutes. Might have been longer. I don't remember. This was a long time ago. And then all of a sudden, it's just, they unload us all off. They tell us what happened. Hey, so-and-so is dead. We're all confused. They load us back on the helicopter. It's like, are we doing the mission then? Like, how did he die? Like, what's going on here? Then they take us out and they, I may recall what happened. I think they took us out to our actual mission and they dropped us off. We didn't really do the mission. We just set up a little operating base or patrol base where we all like circle up and everything. And then they came and got us again. I wish I could remember more details of that night.
Yeah.
It's pretty blurry, but if any of my old homies are watching this, they'll probably message me and tell me I'm a dumbass, but that was interesting. But I mean, overall, like, so we've lost 2 people in our company.
Right.
Brigade wise, we lost a lot from suicide when we got home.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like overall, I guess like a lot kind of happened when you start like sitting here talking about it, which I don't talk much about it. But to me, like I'm still like basing it. Like comparing myself to like these book writers, to the Hollywood people and everything. And I used to not be able to sleep at all. Like I would sleep 2 to 4 hours a night, not all at once, like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. When we got back, my old roommate, his name was Chelf, phenomenal guy, by the way, which is that's a funny story too, because we didn't get along downrange. So we got back, they put us as roommates, and we were just dreading it at first, sitting there like we have to talk to command because we hate each other. So we tried to like get away from being roommates, but they told us to go fuck ourselves and to get along. So we just sat down and tried to decide how we're going to get along.
Right.
It turns out we had a lot in common, and we became best friends. But I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would just be yelling at him like, Chelf, stop fucking screaming. Stop screaming. He's like, I'm not yelling, dude. I'm sleeping. I'm not doing that. I was like, bullshit. I can hear you. You're literally just screaming. Like, no, I'm not. No one is screaming. I promise. And I was so confused because like that every time I closed my eyes, that's all I heard was just screaming and screaming and screaming. And so then I would take NyQuil. I would chug half a bottle, go outside. I'd walk around the whole base out in Grafenwehr, Germany. So it wasn't huge. The other army guys, ain't Fort Hood, it's Grafenwehr. So it's a smaller base, but like I would just walk around for a few hours, come back. Hopefully NyQuil kicked in. If it didn't, I would chug the other half and then get some sleep for like maybe an hour and a half or two. But I just survived by drinking NyQuil. And like after a couple months, there was a moment that like I wanted to figure out how I could commit suicide myself. I couldn't get the screaming stuff to stop. Like I was going to church, doing all that thing. And I think it was like going to church might have been what saved me in a sense.
Sure.
Because their bishop in our Grafenwehr, Germany ward, you know, it was like an American church for the military base. Yeah. And then they had like German wards and stuff too. But he just calls me up one day and he said, hey, God came down and talked to me about you. He says, you need help. Come talk to me. It's like, ain't no way, dude. I don't even talk to this guy. This is not real. Someone tipped him off, but I was like, I don't talk to anyone that goes to that church. They all thought I was crazy Mormon kid, you know? Like, this kid doesn't drink alcohol. Like the only infantry guy in the entire brigade. It doesn't, like, I am the only Mormon guy out of all the infantry dudes that I knew. I don't think there were other infantry guys in the church at all. Yeah. But, so it's kind of weird talking to him. And then I just kind of like cried a bunch in his office and everything. But I felt kind of like a warmth or whatever. And then that's kind of when I met my buddy Chad, who big into rock climbing. And he just like took me under his wing and took me rock climbing all the time. And the day I started rock climbing was like the day I quit hearing screaming in my head every night.
Really?
And so I'm a very passionate guy. I don't rock climb as much, long story short there, but like climbing played a significant part into the reason why I'm alive. And I just kind of learned that like, because I don't believe alcohol solves anything.
Right.
I've had a few friends kill themselves and they were into alcohol trying to have it solve their problems. And I've only been semi-drunk maybe once. Didn't solve anything. I was like happy until someone looked at me weird. Then I was like flipping shit and wanted to kill them. I'm like, this isn't a way out. And so I just became obsessive with rock climbing at first. But you really learn that like, I mean, sure you have like Mayo Clinic or whatever, but all I did was like, hey, if I just stay super busy, then I'm fine. I still never, to that point, I still never said, I have PTSD. Because at that point, like, it's still like, I don't cower and hide in a corner.
Right.
I don't have PTSD. Someone said that to me once, and I told them that they're the dumbest people alive. Fast forward a bit. I get out of active duty. I join the National Guard, like this big space and time. But it was like my third or fourth drill. my NCO in charge of me at the time was like, "What is your problem?" Well, let me back up just a sec. So someone else told me I had severe issues because when I was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, that's where I left the active duty. But every time I heard a helicopter noise, I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd put on all my kit. I'd flip the fuck out for a sec because I couldn't find my rifle. And I'd like, well, I guess I just have to own up to that. And I'd go outside of the barracks and then stand there for 5 minutes, confused as shit as to why no one else came out. The helicopter's here, dude. We got a mission.
Mm-hmm.
The helicopter never fucking landed. There's no one else outside the barracks. I was so confused. So confused. And then I realized that, like, okay, I'm just being weird. So I would just go back in, go to bed. Not a big deal. And then some of my soldiers at the time, because I was a team leader, squad leader at times, bouncing around as an E4 in those positions. Because I knew my infantry shit, been deployed, they didn't. And they're like, "Hey, specialist, you need help." I don't need fucking help. You need help. You're the one that can't do 150 push-ups in a row.
Yeah.
I think they were a little scared of me after that because I'm like, shut your mouth. And anyone else that ever told me that I had PTSD, like I would just write it off. Like, no, I'm not a scared little bitch. You're being a dumb little bitch. Like, go away. Never crossed my mind or anything. I think I was very much encountered in that whole infantry mindset of like, there's two jobs in the army, infantry and those who serve the infantry. And I don't know if it helped that like that was my entry into adulthood and like in basic training and then getting deployed, like your whole thing is like violence of action, violence of action, violence of action. Don't think, you shoot. That's what you do. And so it's just, that was my whole crossover. I mean, when I got out of the army, I'd like walk around and if it was 70 degrees outside, I saw someone wearing a sweater at the grocery store, not other military people, other regular civilian people just living their life. They didn't do anything wrong. I look at him like, why the fuck are you wearing a sweater? It's 70 degrees.
Yeah.
They're like, who is this guy? And it took some time before people were like, you can't do that. Those are civilians. You can't say that to them.
Right.
Like, why can't I? But when I joined the National Guard, my NCO at the time, she's like telling me that like, you need to go see the psychologist. And I was like, for what? There's nothing wrong with me. It's like, no, there's a lot wrong with you. You have issues. I was like, you have fucking issues. I don't have issues. You have issues. There's nothing wrong with me. You're all just weak. like, no, it's nothing bad. We're just going to go talk to him. He just helps check up on you. And I almost thought like this was going to be the end of my career. Go talk to a psychologist. So I was forced into it. Basically like told like, nah, you're going to, you know, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing. For as much as like, I didn't like this NCO, we did not get along on any terms. There is two things that I really do appreciate her for: her ability to do paperwork and her forcing me into going and talking to the psychologist.
Yeah.
Name is, I'm just going to say his name on here, but Doc Wood, phenomenal guy. He does psychology work for BYU and then does it for our 19th group. And I think he's also a significant reason why I'm alive today. But I went and started talking to him. We had a great conversation. I cried and he's just like, you have severe PTSD.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't. And I argued with him. And I guess needless to say, I was like, because I was telling him, it's like, I don't get scared. It's like, it's not about being scared. It's about how you act on these certain things that are triggering you. And I'm like, oh, I have PTSD.
Yeah. Reacting to trauma isn't always fear.
Like, when you go out like around town, see trash on the road and I'm swerving the fucking car.
Mm-hmm.
I see people in burqas and I start grabbing my gun. I'm not like an imminent threat to kill them immediately, but I'm watching them like a hawk.
Yeah.
And if I saw these people carrying a gun, I probably would have started shooting. And it's like, it all makes sense now. Like, I wake up in the middle of the night every time I hear a helicopter and I'm trying to find my rifle and like put on my gear.
Mm-hmm.
The weird trigger that I have is when I'm sleeping. If you wake me up by grabbing my foot, I'm immediately ready to fight. And if I don't recognize you, I'm going to fight you. I will do everything I can to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was the first one to experience this, which is sad because I had ankle surgery. She took me back home to help me out. And she came in to check on my ankle and she grabbed my foot while I was sleeping. And I flipped over the entire bed and tried to hit her in the face.
Jeez.
And it scared the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Like every surgery I had, I've woken up and I've tried to rip every cord out of me. I tried to fight everyone around me.
Mm-hmm.
They would re-inject me with stuff so that I'd like fall back asleep. And so it would be like an hour long of me coming out of surgery. They would knock me back out. I'd come back out, they'd knock me back out. And it was just this up-down game for an hour. I've got security guards holding me down. I think like the sad thing about that is it wasn't until recently on my shoulder surgery I just had, number 7,
Yeah.
that my wife, like, they didn't know what to do. They went and grabbed my wife. They're like, maybe if he sees a familiar face, then he'll stop trying to kill us. And like, I warn all the nurses and everything. I do everything I can to say, look, I come out fighting people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I really am. I don't know why, but I am. Because like, I'm really happy. I'm a smart ass and I'm very sarcastic before our surgery. But I wake up and so she goes, so they went and got her this time. First time they ever like brought a family member in. She looks down every time I'm like waking up trying to punch them all in the face. She's like, are you grabbing his foot? Well, yeah, it's a stimulation thing. Helps them wake up. Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can link that with is like during patrols or whatever. Because like, like when you do like area patrols or something, like you don't want to wake them up. You can't like make noise or anything.
Sure.
So when we're out in the field in our combat area, that's how we would wake each other up. We just grab your foot. So you'd wake up, grab your foot.
You're ready to
you
go.
just see like these eyeballs looking at you and you know who it is. Cause like, just by the way people breathe, the way they move or anything, like, who your buddies are because you're just day in, day out with them. And so whatever night shadow or whoever's breathing on my neck, I knew exactly who it was. And like, okay, it's my turn to be awake. So you just slither on all your gear and stuff, and then you just hang out while they go to sleep. But and I think that might be part of it. Because like you wake up and like unfamiliar people are right there. Now it's like, oh, it's game time. You're all gonna die.
Right.
But because I generally like I do wake up in like severe confusion. Where's my rifle? It's missing. And there's unfamiliar people around me. Now I have to do everything I can to find my way out of here. And I think that might be it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to wait till the next life when the Lord tells us. Our unit psychologist was basically telling me that he doesn't think that I'll have an issue with like ever going out and just gunning people down randomly. He's like, you are to a level, an extreme level that I do want to keep an eye on you. And so like almost every time I go to drill, I meet with our psychologist or behavioral health person, and it's just telling them what's up. Then I know my PTSD definitely amplifies if I haven't worked out at all in a long time. Like, it's wild. I do have to stay busy. That is Probably why I'm part of like 2 different startup companies, full-time job. I'm still in the National Guard. My wife makes fun of me sometimes because I don't sit down much. I don't have the relaxing days of like, oh, let's just sit down and relax. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. My mind, I'm insane.
Right.
It is interesting because at that age, if you were to come to me and tell me you have PTSD from being in a hospital, I would never have respected you.
Yeah, that's the way I felt a lot, right? Like I felt, I hear all these stories about veterans having PTSD, and they're like, "You have PTSD." No, that's reserved for different people who've gone through way worse things. Yeah,
But that's something we share in common and we talk about.
Yeah,
But when you told me that you have PTSD from your people, I was like, yeah, you probably do. Now that I know more about it and seeing psychologists for years.
right.
And I remember telling you, like, you shouldn't be ashamed.
Yeah.
Like, you should tell us a little bit about like your experience.
Yeah.
For a sec.
I was scared to tell people I had PTSD from that because it didn't feel like a big deal, right? I had PTSD from being in the hospital and having a lung taken out. That's whatever. I didn't see anybody die. I didn't go to war. I don't know those experiences. But yeah. Yeah, mine showed up. Like I've only had a couple flare-ups. I don't know, events. Like a big one was I went to go visit a kid in the hospital and he's all hooked up to the monitors and I could barely breathe. Mine's like internal panic attacks, where mine was more like scared and hiding in a corner. But it wasn't from war, so I didn't think it was a big deal until I started talking to a therapist and things got better.
So like, even though you admit talking to a therapist and stuff, it helps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just talking about it, just getting it out there and saying, hey, this is what's happening. This is what I'm doing. This is what happened. I talk about what happened in the hospital. And I think you're a lot of the same way. Just getting it out.
Yeah, I think like understanding the problem is there and then understanding how to resolve it.
Right.
Because it's kind of like when people's car lights turn on, check engine light soon comes on. Like, oh, the car's running fine. I don't need to look into that. And then they have a major problem and they start crying because now it's a $4,000 mechanic bill when it could have been $200 mechanic bill. Like, it's the same thing with us mentally. And like, I hate to admit that it took me more flipping years to figure that out, being out of active duty.
Yeah.
Then the entire event took place.
Yeah. And I think the conversation about PTSD needs to be like, it's not about pity.
No.
It needs to be about understanding and like learning and breaking the silence and just saying, hey, there's issues that are out there that we can deal with.
Oh yeah.
Because I always like, I hear that and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, man. But maybe it's not, I'm sorry. Maybe it's thank you for telling me.
Right.
Thank you for sharing.
Like I currently have all of my soldiers now and people I work with and stuff. I'm very upfront with it and I try and be super open about it because it's helped other people too to not be scared. They're like, well, if Jake Seawolf is telling us about it and blah, 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 you know, that I guess it's not a weak thing. But all my soldiers, you know, they know that like, if I start like acting really weird, then they confront me. And then I will like sit back, be like, oh, thank you for telling me. You're in charge today.
Yeah.
I am not in a mental state to lead you and I apologize.
And I think that's shows a lot of maturity to say, hey, I'm not okay today. You're in.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have a phenomenal team in the Army.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like some of the best soldiers that I would have the honor of working with. And they do. They step up. They take charge. They'll go to the leadership meetings in my place.
Mhm.
And people know what's up. They show up. I think some of them just think that it's because I'm training them to be leaders. But that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I have days too. I don't have soldiers. I have silly construction workers. But
silly construction
silly
workers
construction
who are the
workers.
reason we're in a first world country.
But yeah, I'll tell them, hey, I need you. I can only be here 70% of what I can usually be. I need you to pick up my slack. And absolutely, I get hit with a bout of depression real bad. I had one this last week. I just told my guys, hey, I'm going to go do paperwork and study the plans and ask questions. I need you to be more on top of it. And all of them, you got it. No worries. So,
but I think when your leader does that, it lets them know that it's okay.
right.
Like,
and that you're a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it makes it so that they're comfortable with going and seeking help. They're comfortable with telling you what's up and knowing that you're going to take care of them so that you can be a stronger and better person for the next day.
Yeah.
And not letting that just build up.
Yeah.
Where you're the next statistic and making a bunch of families crying.
Yeah. Why do you think men stay silent for so long?
I know why I did. And I would assume that most men kind of are the same way. I was silent for so long because as like an alpha male in the infantry, combat veteran, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm too tough for this shit. I'm a man. And there's nothing wrong with me. There's only everything wrong with you for thinking there's something wrong with me. And I never wanted to show weakness or openness. Like, your feelings are meant to be buried, not to be brought to light.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a very, what we portray as a masculine thing to do. But after you've had so many friends commit suicide, I'm like, I don't think this is right. Because 3 months after being back from deployment, we lost more men in suicide than we had deaths in our brigade overseas for a year.
It's wild.
3 months. In 3 months, we matched the same number of deaths, of combat deaths.
Yeah.
Like, clearly being quiet about it's not saving anyone.
Right.
Like,
right. With that, thank you very much for telling your story. It's very encouraging to me. I have so much respect for people that have gone through worse things than what I deem as worse things than me. Thank you. You spoke a little bit about some coping mechanisms that you've had in the past, like rock climbing and going to the gym. Can you speak more on that? Like what do you do to continually increase your mental health and make it better?
well, the number one thing I do is I am very open with my wife about it as much as I can be. And I do see a psychologist on a regular basis. I don't know the exact difference between psychologist and therapist, I think, but they're about the same. The number two thing is, like, you have to have hobbies.
Yeah.
Not drinking, not doing drugs. Those are small band-aids.
Right.
And they don't help anyone. Just because you don't notice what's going on, you still have problems going on. And everyone around you can see it just because you numbed yourself to you're too dumb to see it.
Right. You're depressed and you take alcohol, which is a depressant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen that too much in people. So, like, I have actual athletic hobbies.
Sure.
And, like, I'm not saying that you need to be an athlete, but you need to be outside. You need to, like, work out a bit.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, rock climbing, mountain biking, scuba diving, backpacking, weightlifting.
Mhm.
I do all those things because that's what brings me peace. And, like, the whole, like, outdoor therapy that people talk about, that shit's real.
Yeah.
I do claim to be LDS, probably not the best LDS member by any means. But I've never felt like God has spoken to me at church or even at the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt closer to God out in the wilderness,
Yeah.
out in the mountains, where nature is, where you can have silence and just be one with the actual earth,
Mm-hmm.
which is ironic because, I mean, I was in the mountains in Afghanistan, but the mountains out here in Utah bring me peace.
In my experience, life doesn't really go back to the way it was, but it does get much better. And you can build on getting better through like building your own resilience and talking and building a community around you. What does resilience mean to you today with everything that has happened to you?
Resilience means everything. It's finding the purpose of your life and understanding that you do have a purpose. I know, like, I for some reason, I didn't suffer as much from this, but I did a little bit, probably just more because I'm more on the extreme end of other things. But like, I have people who have like severe survivor's guilt,
Mm-hmm.
like, and one thing that kind of helped me with that one is understanding that your friends have died. Now, if you don't live your life for them, then you're kind of shitting on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think that the people who have died almost for you or around you think that they want you to just all of a sudden just be sad and pathetic and not do anything?
Yeah.
No, they want you to go live your life on their behalf. And resilience is kind of, to me, is understanding that you have the purpose and you also have the job now to be the best person that you can possibly be. The resilience that you learn a lot through therapists, actually. Something I actually do with my wife a lot too, and she's struggling, is I make her take a marker, a dry erase marker, and go in the bathroom in the mirror. And she has to write down like 10 great things that she loves about herself,
Mm-hmm.
or even 10 things
Positive affirmation.
yeah. And so that way she has to like look at herself in the mirror while she's writing down good things.
It's a genius idea.
That one, it helps me out a little bit, but not as much. But it helps
Yeah.
her out a lot, so I make her do it all the time.
That's great.
And like we'll leave it up there for a couple days.
Yeah.
And like usually after she writes stuff down, then I'll write stuff down. I think that's a great method.
Yeah.
But what is
Well, that led perfect into my next question, which is if someone out there right now is struggling, and just staying silent and not dealing with what they need to deal with, what is something that you would want them to hear from you?
I would encourage them to take that first step. Go look in a mirror, and you don't leave that mirror until you have written 10 good things about yourself, and then read it out loud. Everyone on here is on this earth for a greater purpose. Whether if you're using that purpose to do horrible things, and I think you need to change your life around. And of course, horrible things is that one can be very construed to your belief system or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for as much as I hate to say, but like even like members of Antifa, right? Like to us, like they're doing horrible things to themselves. They think that they're the freedom fighters of this generation.
Sure.
And so, and it's the same thing like when we go into other countries, right? Like to us, we're the terrorists. To them, they're fighting for their country. And it's really hard to kind of not get confused of like, well, who's right, who's wrong. And of course, everyone thinks they're the right ones. That's a whole different topic, not to kind of go down that
Yeah.
road. But it really is kind of the best thing I can say is like just start there. Like go and write things that you love about yourself. When you can, call a therapist. And even if it's kind of like taking your car in to get an oil change, right? I mean, it's as simple as like, well, while it's getting an oil change, the mechanics, generally speaking, are going to go through your car and make sure everything else is good too.
Hmm.
And a therapist is just going to do the same thing. They're just going to do a little rundown and see what's there,
Yeah.
see how they can help.
Yeah. Sometimes my therapy sessions are only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Because I just don't have a lot to say this week. I had a pretty good week, and there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would add, find a friend, a confidant, just start talking
Absolutely.
and just say, hey, can I just share some stuff with you? If it's a decent friend, they're not going to judge you.
Wife, spouse,
Mom, dad,
girlfriend, mom, dad,
whoever's in your life, they can help.
a gym friend.
A lot of mine are coworkers. We're sitting around making up outlets and we just bull crap. And a lot of times it comes out of, hey, this is what I'm dealing with this week. Oh, hey, I dealt with that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. We have stuff in common.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
The human condition.
And it's not complaining. It's bringing forth information that needs to be talked about.
Right.
And a lot like
shared experiences.
It only took me 6 years after deployment to figure that one out, but
look where you are.
Yeah. Like, not to brag or anything, but dude, like, I am on a very high road. Like, I absolutely love being alive. Absolutely love my family.
That's great.
I just love everything I'm working on. Love this Ironhide project that we're working on and helping other people. For as against doing drugs as I am, I am on testosterone therapy replacement, TRT. I'm a strong believer in that. I think because that's helped me get my energy back up. I was only like 301.
Right.
And I've gotten on the injections. Like,
well, I'm the same way. I think that's right where I was.
Yeah.
And I do injections. I know our CEO takes it and it just helps.
It does. Like, I sleep better. I've never got deep sleep. Like, when I got these little activity watches,
right.
It showed my wife too and everyone, because like I'd fall asleep very quickly, but I'd only get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Now I'm getting like 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
My watch never told me I got deep sleep. I thought it was just broken. No, I get like an hour of deep sleep now.
Yeah.
And like I can go and do all the hobbies that I have.
Does it also make your wife mad that you can fall asleep in a minute? Drives my wife nuts.
She more drives her nuts because I snore sometimes.
Yeah.
And so,
Jake, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with everybody out there. I think it shows great courage and honesty to just bring this out. You guys, you're not in this fight alone. Everyone's in it. We talk all the time about taking the first step, getting your life back in order. And your trauma doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define your worth in the world. It can build you. It can break you.
I think everyone has trauma.
It doesn't. Yes.
You just have to learn how to like.
It's the big T, little t. You have trauma that. Yeah, Jake. If you had one thing of man advice to share with our community, what would it be?
Well, even after all these years, I mean, you could say I had PTSD since I was 19 years old because that was my first gunfight. I'm now 34 years old, and I still struggle with it a bit. And like, I still struggled with the idea of opening up on this podcast, even though we don't have like hardly any viewership, because like there's still that screaming voice in the back of my head that's like, you don't have problems.
Yeah.
You work with a bunch of Green Berets. They have problems. Like, but at the end of the day, like I try and do everything I can to help those around me. And I think being open has helped a lot of people. And so I don't know if you'd call it courageous for one to, I don't even know if I wanted to be on this, but I think I just felt like it needed to happen. Yeah. I hope people watch our podcast and find peace.
Yeah.
That it is still very masculine.
Oh, yeah.
My current back squat max is 435 pounds. I've deadlifted 500.
Mm-hmm.
Went and climbed Timpanogos yesterday. I still lead soldiers. I do a lot of great things.
Yeah.
And it's solely because I've learned to admit what is wrong with me and how to seek help.
Yeah. If you think it's not masculine to talk about what's going on in your life and to make yourself a better person, you're a silly person.
Exactly.
Because that's ridiculous.
So my man advice is, if you're not already talking to a friend or spouse or someone and you don't have some kind of physical hobby, is to start doing both.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you for joining us today on the Ironcast podcast. Like, subscribe, and brought to you by Silver Peak Plumbing.